fighting fair. I know it probably sounds like a contradiction, but it's actually very important. It's very important that, as the saying goes, to be able to agree to disagree, or to disagree with respect, and to not be disagreeable when we're not on the same page. Now, I've thought a lot about this recently and watching what's going on in the news with politics and how the House and the Senate and so forth are battling, and of course how everyone seems to be against our president and the things that he wants to implement. And it just seems like, as adults, we're not fighting fair. And one of the things that's very important about fighting fair is, what we need to realize as adults is, we are showing young people how to resolve conflict. So essentially, that's all we're talking about today. We're talking about conflict resolution. And not only with the politics and things that are going on in the news, but also remember and recall going back to my premarital counseling before I married my wife. And we talked about how to not be on the same page for a subject or about certain things, but how to argue and not let it be an angry type of thing. Now again, human beings argue, emotions get involved, you may get angry. But the things that we learned through our counseling was how to repair from those moments and how to have less of those moments and more moments where we understand that it's two different people, we will have two different views at times, and we have to come to a consensus, some sort of agreement. And that's what the whole piece about fighting fair is recognizing that there should be rules of fighting. So my first point is this: when you fight fairly, you don't burn bridges. Now, as I mentioned a little while back when I talked about the bridge builder, we always talk about the bridge in terms of don't burn bridges with a job or the relationship, because you never know when you may need that job, need a reference from that job, or need that person you're in a relationship with or were in a relationship with. And that's very true. You know, unfortunately, at times we allow our emotions to get the best of us, and we say and do things that we wish we hadn't, and we end up burning the bridge. A bridge that we can never go back across because we've ruined the relationship. We've caused a fragmentation instead of allowing things to be together. But when you learn to fight fairly, when you learn to respect others' views, you don't burn bridges. And my second point is, when you learn to fight fairly, it shows growth and maturity. Now, most of us have heard the saying, act your age. Now, of course, my man put act your age, not your shoe size. And when you think about that, you know, when you're very young, when you're 2, 3 years old, it may be okay to have a temper tantrum if you don't get your way, or to act in a manner that would be seen as irrationally. You're a toddler, you're a baby. But as an adult, and even as a young person, a teenager, or a college student, you gotta act your age. You gotta show some sort of growth and maturity. So when you learn to fight fairly, it's being responsible for your actions and even your reactions. Because we can all be very honest, and the people closest to us are the people that know how to push our buttons the best. You know, a stranger on the street, they may get under your skin. You may want to resort to fighting or resort to fighting of some sort, but you get over that fairly quickly. But the people close to you, they can kind of get under your skin, push those buttons with the best of them. And now you're boiling, you're steaming. But you got to learn how to fight fairly. You got to grow beyond the days where you want to intentionally get under somebody's skin. You got to be mature. And the last thing, and this is very important, when you learn to fight fairly, people will respect the fact that you can disagree with respect. You know, as we go through disagreements, whether it's at the office, whether it's on the sideline as coaches, or whether it's in a relationship, or even in ministry, when you have a group of people, or even just two people, with different upbringings, different parents, different things that sort of formulates who they are, then there's a chance you can disagree. But when you do it with the spirit of respect, understanding that I have my views, and as strong as I feel about my views, they feel just as strong about theirs, then you've gone through a learning process, and you're fighting fairly. And what that leads to is people respecting the fact that I know that I can disagree with this person, and it won't turn into something ugly or nasty or hurtful. Conflict is a part of everyday life. Think about it. You can walk outside and you can see two people arguing over a parking space, people arguing with a little road rage on the road about how somebody's driving, whether it's too fast, too slow, somebody was cut off, or two people on a project at work that don't see eye to eye. One thinks it should be A, the other thinks it should be B. And as you learn to resolve those conflicts and deal with those everyday circumstances, you learn more about yourself and you can work towards being successful. Remember my 3 points. When you learn to fight fairly, you don't burn bridges. It also shows a sign of growth and maturity. And lastly, people will respect the fact that you can disagree and respect their views and their opinions.
Oh,